Good afternoon and a hearty welcome to the today's national webinar on mentoring young entrepreneurs organized by Nirmala Innovation and Incubation Council, Nirmala College of Pharmacy, Atmakur, Mangalagiri, Andhra Pradesh. Myself, Sheikh Asha Begum, Assistant Professor in the Department of Pharmacology and Pharmacy Practice, would like to take the opportunity to welcome you all for today's webinar by the eminent speaker, Mr. C.S. Mujeebuddin Sir, Founder and CEO of Clinosol Research Private Limited, Hyderabad. In this regard, I would like to give a brief introduction of our college. Nirmala College of Pharmacy, established in 2004, is a self-financed institution affiliated to Acharya Nagarjuna University, Guntur, Andhra Pradesh. The institution is approved under UGC, accredited by NAC, with an NRIF ranking 76 to 100 band. The college is also approved by AICTE and PCI New Delhi. We are offering Diploma in Pharmacy, B.Pharmacy, M.Pharmacy with 3 specializations, namely Pharmaceutics, Pharmaceutical Analysis, and Pharmacology. We also offer Pharma D and Pharma D Post-Baccalaureate and PhD. The college has a team of 52 teaching staff and has obtained 10 grants which were sponsored by DST SERP, ICMR, AICTE, and TB Association of India. Now, let me take an opportunity to introduce our Nirmala Innovation and Incubation Council. Nirmala Innovation and Incubation Council was established and approved under MHRD's AICTE IIC in 2018. It focuses on creating complete ecosystem which will foster the culture of innovation among the students of Nirmala and from ideas generation to pre-incubation, incubation, and graduating from the incubator as successful startups. There are various functions of NIIC, which includes conducting various innovation and entrepreneurship related activities prescribed by the central MIC in time-bound fashion, to identify and reward innovations and share success stories, to organize periodic workshops, seminars, interactions with entrepreneurs, investors, professionals, and create a mentor pool for student innovators, network with peers and national entrepreneurship development organizations. Along with the functions, there are a number of programs being organized by NIIC, which includes Young Scientist Award Competition, Workshop on Innovation and Startups, Smart India Hackathon, in which 35 idea submissions were done and 5 prototype submissions, Drug Discovery Hackathon, Designing of Medical Apps in association with ERIT IT Services. And there is a research grant received from TB Association of India for conducting research on artificial intelligence-based elucidation of mechanisms of rifampicin resistance. And we are proud to announce that NIIC has received a 2-star rating for the year 2018 to 19, and now for the year 2000 to 19-20, we have received a 4.5-star rating from MHRD, AICTE, Government of India. Now, let me take the opportunity to invite our distinguished chief guests. Firstly, I feel honored to invite the chief patron of today's webinar, Reverend Sister K. Maria Sundari Garu, Provincial Superior of CSA, Guntur Province, to deliver a welcome message.
Good afternoon to one and all. I am happy to know that our Nirmala College of Pharmacy, Atmakur Mangalagiri, is conducting a national webinar on mentoring young entrepreneurs organized by Nirmala Innovation and Incubation Center in collaboration with Clinosol Research Private Limited by the resource person Mr. C.S. Mujeebuddin, founder and CEO. I congratulate and appreciate Reverend Sister Alfonsa, Secretary and Correspondent of the Nirmala College of Pharmacy, Dr. S.K. Abdul Rahman, Principal and Convener of this webinar, and Dr. Shailendra Kumar Mahanta, in charge of the Nirmala Innovation and Incubation Center, for their initiation to conduct this national webinar. A person who launches, develops, runs a new business venture with all its associated risks is called entrepreneur. These are the people who turn idea into reality to get profit. It gives me a great joy to know that Nirmala College of Pharmacy is not only very much interested in students' intellectual and skill development programs wrapped with the human values, but also is very much interested to know the growth and the development of the every individual student and making them into young entrepreneurs by conducting these seminars. Dear delegates, if you are available, and God will make you able. The secret of success is if you believe in yourself and be a change. Learn to take risk and grow in your life. I wish you all the best for your participation in this webinar. May God bless you all.
Thank you, sister, for your kind words. Now, I feel honored to invite the patron of today's webinar, Reverend Sister P. Alfonsa Garu, Secretary and Correspondent of Nirmala College of Pharmacy, to deliver a welcome message.
Good afternoon to you all. I am delighted to know that Nirmala Innovation and Incubation Center of our Nirmala College of Pharmacy, Atmakur Mangalagiri, is organizing a national webinar on mentoring young entrepreneurs in collaboration with the Clinosol Research Private Limited by the resource person Mr. C.S. Mujeebuddin, founder and CEO. Dear delegates, it's a great opportunity for you all that along with your academics, learn to be entrepreneurs in course of time. Because with the completion of degree and PG courses, you would become an independent and able with creative ideas and innovative thoughts. So put all your practical and technical resources that are within you to get good result out of it. On this occasion, I congratulate the Department of Innovation and Incubation Center in charge, Dr. Sailendra Mahanta, and all the faculty members for taking initiative to conduct this webinar. I welcome all the delegates to take active participation in it. I wish you all the best. God bless you all.
Thank you so much for your wishes, sister. Now, it's my honor to invite the convener of today's event, Dr. Sheikh Abdul Rahman Sir, Professor and Principal of Nirmala College of Pharmacy, to detail about the objectives and theme of today's session.
Respected management, Reverend Sister Sundari, President of our institution, Reverend Sister P. Alfonsa, Secretary and Correspondent, today's resource person, Sri C.S. Mujeebuddin, CEO, Clinosol Research Private Limited, Dr. Sailendra Kumar Mahanta, President of our Nirmala Innovation and Incubation Center, and Professor of our institution, my dear staff, students, friends, dear delegates from various institutions and organizations, a very good afternoon to all. I welcome all the delegates for our national webinar on mentoring young entrepreneurs. Before going to have the presentation by our beloved speaker, I would like to share few views regarding our Nirmala Innovation and Incubation Center and entrepreneurship. Our Nirmala Innovation Incubation Center, established in the year 2018 with the approval of MHRD, Innovation Incubation Council, New Delhi. So far we have received more than 55 lakh grants from various government organizations, DST, TB Association of India, AICT PMKVY, AICT Modrops, AICT International Conference Grant, ICMR, etc. We have established Startup Entrepreneurship Cell and IPR Cell in our Nirmala Innovation Incubation Center. Now, coming to the entrepreneurship, that is today's title of the topic. Who is an entrepreneur? Entrepreneur is a person who launches, develops and runs a new business venture with all its associated risks is called as an entrepreneur. I think delegates, you have understood. Entrepreneur is a person who launches, develops and runs a new own business venture is called as an entrepreneur. Now, if any candidate want to become an entrepreneur, he should have some characteristics, a personality, like he should have a passion, ambition, self-confidence, determination and resourcefulness to run their entrepreneurship. And he should have the capabilities like willingness to take the risks. And another one, undertake entrepreneur characteristics like perspective. Perspectiveness is also a very, very important character to establish the entrepreneurship. So dear delegates, not only the fulfilling the characteristics and to establish your own entrepreneurship, you should understand what are the various types of entrepreneurships. So there is a different types of entrepreneurs in our society. They are classical entrepreneurs, innovative entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs, serial entrepreneurs, solo entrepreneurs. Now see, in our in our society, there is a two types of entrepreneurs we would like to see. they are classical entrepreneur. Classical entrepreneur means like they are earning their skills and knowledge from other entrepreneur, like restaurant owners, store owners, plumbers, auto mechanics, hairstylers. They are all comes under a classical entrepreneurs. So now the most important one is a innovative entrepreneur. Innovative entrepreneur is next big disruptor. Like Facebook, we have Facebook has disrupt almost all the social medias. Like so, under this innovative entrepreneur, softwares, app designing, communications, marketing, business intelligence. So those things all comes under innovative entrepreneurship. Dear delegates, you want to choose, right? Like you have to think what are the characteristics must possess and what type of entrepreneur you want to become. Okay, so far I have discussed whatever views, whatever knowledge I have regarding the entrepreneurship. Today we have a very good personality as resource person, Sri Mujeebuddin. Is going to be deliver about exact entrepreneurship. For that, I am very thankful to Mr. Mujeebuddin for accepting our invitation, for showing his consent to deliver a presentation in a virtual mode. And I also congratulate and thank our Dr. Sailendra Kumar Mahanta, President of our Nirmala Innovation Incubation Center, for motivation and taking care about this virtual program. Then I also thank Mrs. Asha Begum, today's host, to run the program, entire program. And I also thank our beloved management for their constant support for conducting such a wonderful programs to our students as well as our delegates. So thank you one and all. All the best.
Thank you, sir, for detailing about the importance of entrepreneurship and explaining the objectives of today's webinar. Here it is with special excitement that I am pleased to welcome the chairperson of today's webinar, Dr. Shailendra Kumar Mahanta, Associate Professor, Department of Pharmacology, Nirmala College of Pharmacy. Sir is currently the President of Nirmala Innovation and Incubation Center. He is the Innovation Ambassador for Nirmala College of Pharmacy. Sir is also a coordinator and head at Nirmala College of Pharmacy for National Institutional Startup Policy under MHRD. Sir has completed his Masters of Pharmacy from Kanak Manjari Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Rourkela, Odisha, and has been awarded PhD from NIT, Rourkela. He has tremendous experience in organizing various workshops and conferences sponsored by various government agencies like DST. Sir has received a short-term research grant for the research work entitled Artificial Intelligence-Based Elucidation of Mechanisms of Rifampicin Resistance from TB Association of India. He has almost 10 publications in peer-reviewed journals such as Applied Materials and Interfaces, Biointerfaces, PLOS ONE and RSC Advances, to name a few. His research interests include therapeutic approaches for treatment of neuropathic pain in cancer and protein engineering-based therapeutics. A very hearty welcome to you, sir. Now I request Dr. Shailendra Kumar, sir, to introduce the resource person of today's session.
Thank you, Asha Madam, for such a nice introduction. Now, I thank the management and the principal for providing me the opportunity to be the chairperson for today's webinar on mentoring young entrepreneurs. The key speaker for today's event is Mr. Mujeebuddin, who is currently the founder and CEO for Clinosol Research Private Limited, an emerging clinical research education and resource management company that deals with training, project handling, and resource management in clinical research and its allied branches. Mr. Mujeebuddin has received his MSc in clinical research from Manipal University and M.Pharm in pharmacology from MGR University. Post his masters, he started his career journey with QPS Bioserv. His subsequent journey in clinical research took a new turn into clinical data management when he has joined a very well-renowned pharma CRO, Parexel International, where he also served as technical trainer apart from being a technical lead. Later, his journey took a new fleet when he was invited to join in one of the prestigious IT company as a principal consultant in designing, developing and marketing of the most popular clinical trial databases, Oracle Argus, Safety Suite for Pharmacovigilance, and Oracle Inform, a world-famous electronic data capturing tool used for clinical data management. Further on, he joined Accenture Chennai as a subject matter expert, and then his next takeoff was in India's topmost pharma CRO, Quintiles, which is currently known as IQVIA, as an associate director for projects in clinical data management, where he led multiple data specification teams. With his 15 years of journey in various domains of clinical research, he took the decisive to follow his passion for teaching and has started his own organization, Clinosol Research Private Limited, in March 2019. His primary focus is to bring up all the emerging pharma talents from academics and train them to be industry ready for pharma CROs and IT companies, where the companies have to spend an enormous amount of money on trainings alone. He has designed all the modules and curriculum in a way to bridge the widening gap between academics and the industry as a building block. He has succeeded in training thousands of students till date, and many of them are placed in topmost positions across all pharma and IT companies in India and abroad. With his continuous hard work and contributions made to clinical research education and resource management services, Clinosol has recently received the most innovative clinical research training organization award for the year 2018 and 2019 during an international conference held in Goa in the month of September 2019, along with many other individual mementos of his contributions to the pharmacy field at various national pharmaceutical conferences. He is currently training hundreds of students through his online trainings during this COVID-19 pandemic lockdown, as he believes in continuous education, which is the only way to survive in this competitive world. With his efforts, Clinosol is able to place lots of students even during lockdown in work from home jobs as well as internships for final year pursuing students. He is also conducting online events with CEOs, directors from the corporate world, along with the great educationalists in the pharmacy field, to motivate and educate the students on various topics of continuous education on a regular basis. Before we move on to the session by Mr. Mujeebuddin, we'd like to have a glimpse of the organization Clinosol through a short video, and then we'll move ahead with this session. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Mujeeb. I want to speak about how an entrepreneur looks like and what makes a difference to become an entrepreneur. So today's my topic is life of an entrepreneur and what exactly it is, how it looks like and how I've landed as an entrepreneur. So let me introduce myself. My name is Mujeeb. I have overall of 15 years of experience in industry, and I have worked in QPS by myself, Accenture, Cognizant, Oracle, Paraxel, and IQVIA. So later on, I started my own organization, which is Clinosol Research Private Limited, and we are dealing with training the freshers in terms of clinical research, training the experienced company people in terms of clinical research and allied sciences, and consulting, and also handling of some projects. So this is all about myself, and let's focus on today's topic. What is an entrepreneurship, how it looks like, and what young generation have to think to become an entrepreneur. So my topic will be divided into following sections, guys. So the first one is my journey of entrepreneurship, how I landed up in entrepreneurship, and what my parents have taught and what they have said about entrepreneurship, and about introduction of entrepreneurship, how to initiate an idea and make it as possible. I'll be speaking about the risk associated to it. What are the risks? How we can take a risk of starting our own business, and how much role plays by the team. What is a team, and how much is being played in terms of having your own business to start an entrepreneurship. I'll be speaking about the capitals, the fundings, the capitals, how much it is important for a business. I'll be speaking about that zone also. And yes, I'll be speaking about the failures. So when you speak about entrepreneurship, you have to speak that how you are going to deal with your failures. And finally, I'll end with some conclusion points that how an entrepreneurship should behave and what makes a difference from an entrepreneurship. So without making much delay in this topic, I'll start my journey as an entrepreneur. So in my lifetime, I have not thought that I'll become an entrepreneur. So that's the first point. When I completed my M.Pharm pharmacology, I started thinking that what job should I take? And then my parents have said that, yeah, you have to go for a job. No one has suggested me to start my own company. No one has suggested me to start my own organization. Then I looked at going for a jobs. I went for interviews, I cleared the jobs. And later on, when I started thinking in a job, I started thinking, why can't I start my own organization? So it took nearly 13 years to understand in and out of clinical research, 13-14 years of my time period to start my own thinking that what best I can do by my capabilities. How can I build an organization? How can I build a company? So when I started Clinosol as a private limited firm, as a company, so I was having 2 or 3 resources initial time, but we have grown in terms of the people. We are now 10 people. We have grown our business in terms of recruiting people, in terms of providing trainings, in terms of handling the projects. So now, when I started thinking about to become an entrepreneur is when I left my last job, which is in IQVIA. I was working in a very good position, and I started thinking, why should I not start my own organization? So it in turn gave me an answer that yes, I have to think about my own organization. So then I started putting an idea that what best idea I can do. So when I visited some of the companies, they have found that there is a lot of a gap between academic and industry. So I found a wonderful idea that how can I reduce that gap between an academics and industry. So that idea came into my mind and I started initiating these aspects. So this is something which I landed up. When I said to my parents were afraid. They said, where are you going to build the funds? How are you going to run the business? You are not so much old. So all these questions came, but of course I have taken a risk, and obviously I'm very happy at this point of time what we are staying at Clinosol, how the Clinosol organization is growing, and how I made difference from the team 1 to team so many people. So that's about my journey about Clinosol as an entrepreneur. So I'll speak about some of the introduction points. So many people thinks about what is an entrepreneurship. So people have a different kind of idea about entrepreneurship. People think that you're your own boss, guys. You're your own boss, and you don't need to take any permissions, leaves. You can take any number of holidays. But the first part of it is when you start your own company. When you start your own company, you have to be there at the first person in office, and you should be the last person to leave the office. So because it's your company, it's your organization, you have to build it and you have to make it possible. So that is a myth that your own boss, you can take holidays, which is absolutely not correct. And yes, how to become an entrepreneur. So one of the most important point I want to give, guys, you should have innovation. You should have innovation. You should have some difference. You should never be a copycat. You should never be copying an idea which is being taken from any other source. So now you should have a dream. You should have a dream, and you have to make that dream as an idea, and you should have a vision. So after 5 years, after 2 years, after 10 years, where I am standing with my respect to organization, and as an organization, what I am going to do with this company, you should have a vision. So you should have a dream, and that dream you have to make it as idea, and you have to do a lot of hard work to make that idea possibly as a vision. So that's what is entrepreneurship in a nutshell. And the next one, it does not look as easy as you think, guys, because now we are in an age of digital media. Now you start an organization and everyone will be starting poking you, saying that you will fail. Everyone will start that you will fail as an entrepreneur because they don't wanted you to be successful. You just have to think that if you are believing in yourself, if you think that you are a wonderful entrepreneur, don't ever listen to other people, because other people are there to make sure that you are not successful. You have to break their belief that yes, I am successful, I can be an entrepreneur, I can give jobs to hundreds of people, I can create jobs, I can grow this company. So that's what is the one thing which you should have as an entrepreneur. And yeah, it's obviously a stressful job. I can tell you it's a very stressful job because you really don't know what kind of problems you will face. But yes, you have to know how to handle the problems. So the only resolution is you will have stress. You have to know how to handle the stress. An entrepreneur is a person who handles the stress in a right way, in a right format. So that is one thing. And yes, it's always eats your time. Entrepreneurship, you think that you are your own boss and you can do whatever you want, but basically when you become an entrepreneur, you tend to not spend time for other things, but probably think about your business, your organization, how you can grow. So when I thought of becoming an entrepreneur, there were so many questions, can I handle this or not? So, but yes, I'm happy that I'm able to handle many things, and I have a wonderful team who works along hand in hand with me. Yes, and now next one, success. So people will speak that once you have become an entrepreneur, so you had put money into a company and you started your own company. But here is the problem, guys, that if you have put the money, you should understand how are you going to make the returns? How are you going to generate the revenue? Because the initial capital amount what you have put is not the permanent money. You have to generate revenue with the money which you have put into the company. So identifying the sources of revenue during the business is most important for you guys. Think as a business person that yes, I have invested 1 crore. Of course, good. But after investing 1 crore, how are you going to generate the revenue from that company or organization is the skill of an entrepreneur, and you should develop that skill. You should know how to deal with situations. You should know how to deal with the clients. You should know how to make sure that to take a correct feedbacks from the clients and make sure your business is flourishing like anything. So that's about the introduction of entrepreneurship. And yeah, I'll speak about some of the skills of entrepreneur. So people will ask me like, sir, what are the skills you have? to become an entrepreneur, or what skills are needed to have in entrepreneur? The first point is you should be a wonderful leader. You should be a wonderful leader. The leader is one who does not grow as one person, who grows the team members along with him. So a leader is one who takes a blame and who gives the credit. A leader is one who motivates the whole team and stands in front of all issues and holds the problems and solves the problems in front of the team. A leader is one who stands at the first and says that, guys, chalo, we'll do it. So this is what is the entrepreneurship, guys. If you want to become an entrepreneur, first become a correct, good leader. And yes, a leader is a person who is a motivator, and always you should be in a positive thing. You should not be in a position, boss, I have got loss today. I really don't know tomorrow I will get or not. If you have got a loss, let's understand what mistakes you did and what things you have to correct to make sure that to avoid that losses. And yes, a leader is a responsible person. If anything mistake happens, he should be held responsible for any mistake, and he will be happily taking that responsibility. And yes, he should be competent enough. A leader is one person who should be a competent enough person. A leader is a person who should have creativity, who should have imagination, assumptions. After 1 year, I should have a creativity that yes, my Clinosol should be like this. I want to build an organization like this. My resources should work in this way, and I should get business like this way. I should have the client satisfaction like this way. These are all things you are having in your imagination and creativity. So that's something which you have to have. And you may think that systems are doing most of work, so we are losing jobs. But system cannot do one thing which is called as creativity. Systems cannot do one thing which is called as leadership quality. So these are the things which systems or machines cannot do, which human beings can do. That's why you have to be a wonderful leader if you want to become an entrepreneur. If you want to start your own organization, become the first leader, and then you are becoming to be a good entrepreneur. And yes, you have to have integrity, guys. This word you should never forget. You should have an integrity. You should have the truth. You should have a trust, and never ever tell lies in your business. So have a habit of showing integrity in business, trust in business. That's one thing which a leader, and one more thing is the real leader won't force you. The leader who is really thinks that he is a leader, he will never force you, and he will say that if you like my views, you walk along with me. I'll make sure that you will get a success. I can't force a person saying that, boss, you come and invest money in my business, I'll give you 100% profit. But they should believe on myself, and they should come without any force. That is what is a leader actually. So leadership skill is one of the most important things as an entrepreneur you should have, and we have to develop a leadership skills in order to motivate the whole team. As an individual, as a team, you have to grow. Yes, the next very important point apart from leadership skills is time management. Yeah, time. This word is very beautiful word, time. If you lost money, you can earn. If you lost time, you can't earn. Remember these points in your lifelong. If you lost money, you can earn. But if you lost time, you can't bring back that time. You should know how to focus your 24 hours of time. It means that you should know how to use exactly the time. Because you can't buy the time, guys. You should know how to do multitasking, how to think, imagine, and do a smart work. Very importantly, you have to do smart work, multitasking works. Your brain should be a multitasking works. That is what is the importance of time management. Yes, time management, one of the most important thing is you have three kinds of works. One is most critical work, one is moderate, and one is, it can be a mild, it can be taking a later point of time. But if you have a time management sense, you will first focus on a critical work which has to be immediately delivered to the client. And the last work is the mild work, which can be delivered little bit later. So you have to classify which work is critical for your business and how are you going to classify your time management and doing your business in a right way. That is what is the time management. Yes. Always guys, remember, smart work is good. Smart work is good. Think in a short ways. Think in a ways that how you can reduce the amount of work you are doing now, how you can reduce the amount of work with the same quality and productivity. And yes, do more in less time. So this is the words which you have to remember in your lifetime. You have to do more work within a less time. So that is what is a time management for you. And you have to plan your work and know how to do a multitasking. Sometimes I'm listening to a session, I'm in a webinar, my video is off, and suddenly I heard one word which is called as latency. So I'm not sure what is latency. So now if I'm not having a multitasking, I'm opening my mobile and doing a Google search or using a Google Voice saying that, yeah, show me what is onset latency. It will show what is onset latency. In the meantime, I'm listening to the slides and I'm also seeing, verifying what is this actually defined as. This is what you call it as multitasking. And you have to know how to manage your time at the same time how you are putting your time in learning and also you are putting in your efforts. And the next point guys, wonderful thing after your leadership and time management, communication. So this word is so much important. Communication. First, learn to listen. Learn to listen. These are the words which has to be understood. You have to listen. First, try to understand. So do not bombard with all your activities saying that, yeah, I have given you work. You go and you do your work. If team member is saying something, listen carefully. Have a habit of listening. And once you start listening, you will see in a different perspective because every individual have different ideas and different aspects. Once you start listening, you start thinking in a different ways. Okay, this idea is different because every individual thinking is different. You tend to have new ideas. You tend to have great learning. So do not stop listening. So that is what you have to understand, great communication. And yes, body language. One of the most important thing, eye-to-eye contact. Have comfortable zone. Make sure that you are looking great with your eye-to-eye contact and the body language what you are using should attract the people. That is what is the importance of communication. It's not only the words what you are talking, it's your whole body which is talking. Eye-to-eye contacts or the body languages or body signs what you are using, all these aspects are important for you guys. And yes, the next one after communication, ability to learn. So this is something which is very important. You go to a small child and you go and teach to a small child and small child will learn very quickly, but we don't accept learning. Once we have become a B.Pharm or M.Pharm or a Pharm, we say that, yeah, I'm a graduated, I'm a Pharm, I'm a doctor, I'm M.Pharm. But guys, your life is completely of learning. Do not stop your learning because life has not stopped you. Remember these words, ready to adapt technologies, ready to learn and ready to get changes. If you don't adapt the changes will happen and your business will go into huge troubles or problems. So ability to learn things and adapt things is most important. Yes, accept one thing that you will not know 100% of anything or everything. You will never know 100% of anything or everything because there will be something which you really don't know about it. And you can learn at any point of time. Age is just a number and age is not everything for your learning. Yeah. And there will be always many things you really don't know. You have to learn, continuously learning because I spend nearly 2 hours a day. On an average 2 hours, 1 hour or 2 hours a day to read, to learn, to work and to improve. Yeah. And yes, the beauty of learning, you can learn anything. The beauty of learning is you can learn anything, but no one can take it away from you. So if you earn money, anyone can take money from you, but learning, no one can take from you because learning is a knowledge. and no one can take from you. You should believe that open for learning is one of the most important category or one of the most important character of a wonderful entrepreneur. So remember these points, and yes, always ready to take a new challenges. Now I'll tell you, so COVID happened and most of institutions were thinking that okay, government has given 21 days of lockdown period. So government has given 21 days of lockdown period, and people thought like after 21 days everything will be normal. So government has issued one more time another 21 days. People thought like another 21 days we will have everything as normal, but it continued and it is still continuing. The day one the lockdown was initiated in India, we started thinking yes, we will go digitally online. Till now we are fully online. All my team members are working from home and our work has not stopped till now. We have not stopped working for one day also. That's where we are showing that difference, that how you can become an entrepreneur, how you can become a leader, how you can accept the changes, how you can manage the time, how you can become a better communication, how you can become a better listener. These are all things you have to think as an entrepreneur, guys, and you should be ready for accepting the changes. And we have accepted the changes. Yes, the next one, creativity. I'll give one of the best example. So you have to be creative. So now 2020 has gone. Now my business is running smoothly, very good. So if I don't think creatively enough, my business will feel low at any point of time. I started thinking like, let's think what US universities are doing in terms of clinical research education. What Canada universities are doing in terms of clinical research education. I looked at the syllabus, I looked at the aspects, and I went into deep of the syllabus, and I started creating a new syllabus and new courses designed for Clinosol. So that's what is creative, what you have to do. You have to think about what are the next level of plan I can change. Because if you don't change your process at a continuous level, you are not going to be successful. So that's what you have to be creative. Don't let busy schedule to kill your imagination. Don't be 24/7 sitting in laptops or books, having meetings, boardrooms, this. Your imagination will be killed. So have your time for imagination. Specify your time for imagination. Yes, and one more time, visualize the creativity. Okay, visualize it. So how it looks like, visualize it. Then you will understand what difference you can do it. And yes, one of the most important thing is right opportunity in right time. You should understand these words. You should have right opportunity, right time. I'll give a classic example now. When COVID started, the opportunity was, as an entrepreneur, the opportunity was for two things. One is for hand sanitizers and one is for masks. There are two things. That was an opportunity, and you had a time. You had an opportunity. And at that particular time, if you have become an entrepreneur specifically for hand sanitizers and masks, your business would have flourished till now. But now people have got so many kind of different things and people are not using so many hand sanitizers or masks. Now if I start a business, it's not going to run. So now you should understand, you should have an opportunity and you should have a right time. A right opportunity, right time a person is using is a successful entrepreneur in your life. And yes, the saying goes as this, nothing is more expensive than missing an opportunity. If you have an opportunity and you missed it, you cannot bring back that opportunity. And also, if opportunity is not there, you build your own door. You create your own door as an opportunity. So right time and right opportunity is most important in an entrepreneurship. So you should understand this, how right time and right opportunity you have to use your mind and capital and investment, all those things to become an entrepreneur. Very good. Yeah, I'll tell 3 stories here. The first one is Mercedes-Benz. When Mercedes-Benz car was initiated, a person whose name was Benz, He said, I'll create a car for my daughter. And he created a luxurious car for her daughter. And he has seen that there was huge demand in future after 20, 30 years or 50 years or 100 years for luxurious car. And now you see Mercedes-Benz or one of the branded cars. You should think in that way. And now I'll tell one more story of Amazon. The CEO of Amazon, Bezos. Now when he started in a very small cabin, small room, and his business was giving books, renting the books, selling the books to the other people. When he thought like, why should I only sell the books? Why should I not sell the everything? Whatever it is available, I will sell it. And now you see, one of the richest person in the world is Amazon CEO. Now, if you see the logo also, it comes as A to Z. So it means that you carefully see what Amazon looks. So it has an A, and from there a smile starts, it goes to Z. It means that A to Z you will find out in Amazon. You think how logically, creatively they have made a logo for them. If you see Clinosol, C. So you have three hands of Clinosol logo. If you see Clinosol, so C stands for C, and other yes is the other two hands. So it indicates that we are working on three hands, which are most important. One is with the clinicians, the one is pharmaceutical industries, and one is IT systems. In other words, my initial is CS, Mujeebuddin. So we thought like CS should be there included in the logo, and we have implemented the logo. And if you see Clinosol, C stands for a capital, S stands for a capital. So it is one more time CS. So like that you have to think about logo, you have to be more creative, and you have to brand yourself. You have to invest in a branding and not on furniture or capital investment. Remember that words. So this is about a couple of stories. And yes, risks. I'm going to speak about risks. Say no to risk, but yes to calculated risk. You can't take a big risk. You can't take all the eggs and put it in one nest. Yes, have some eggs in one nest. If suddenly that nest is not working, you can have the other eggs also in other nest. So calculated risk. You can't put all the eggs into one basket. So have a calculated risks and assess it to take a risk. So is that worthwhile for a risk? And what if I fail? What is the loss to the company? You have to assess initially only before you take a risk. So plan it accordingly and then go for a calculated risks. Yes, this is about risks. And yes, the next one, don't just think critically. So for every process, you have to think very critically, very critically. Okay. So one more thing, debate everything. So don't go for saying that, okay, I'm your boss, guys. I have to tell you and you have to listen. Debate. I have an idea. ABC is my idea. What is your idea? You tell me what is BCD and how best is ABC compared with BCD. And yes, you explain, I explain, debate it, listen it, understand it, go and listen to flaws and advantages and go for it. So think critically. This is the entrepreneur, what we have to do as entrepreneurship skills. And one more word is have critical thinking for all the team members, not only for you, for all the team members. Cultivate, motivate people to think about critically how best you can cultivate critical thinking. And yes, critical thinking skills, what are the skills which are there in critical thinking? One is reasoning. Reasoning is most important. Why are we going to do? What are we going to do? How are we going to do? When are we going to do? Where are we going to do? So 4 W's and 1 H. What are we going to do? When are we going to do? Where are we going to do? What are we going to do? And how are we going to do? So if you ask these questions, reasoning these questions, then you are going to get your answers. And yes, evaluating any work, how this work can be performed is one of the critical thinking aspects. And yes, problem solving. You have a problem and you should know how to solve that particular problem. If you are unable to solve that particular problem, you are not a critical thinking person. So you see a problem, you should not run away from the problem, you should solve the problem, you should stand in front of the problem. And decision making, you should be a person to take a strongest decision and stand on it. Saying that yes, I have taken a decision and I want to stand for a decision. That is what you call it as decision making. And analyzing everything. So now we have reached to year. So now if I analyze what is the success rate of a Clinosol, what is the success rate of a Clinosol? Employees, how much attrition is there, how many students are placed, how many students we have trained, how many conferences we have held, how many events we have done, how many awards we have got, how many rewards we have got. All these things is analyzing. Analytics of data is most important for critical thinking. And yes, the backbone of any organization is one of the most important thing, team. Believe in your team. Okay. So an individual cannot become an entrepreneur. An individual cannot work 24/7 to grow his company. You have to have trust on your team. Building a right team is the most important as an entrepreneur. You should have a trust on your team. Team should have a trust on you. Then your team is superb team. You are going to bash any kind of business, either it is product specific or services specific or anything. So only way to grow your business is having the best team members, and making them to understand how best they can do their work. Okay. One person business will always have limited potential to grow, but the group of team members will always have a team to grow. And always remember, develop as we, not me. Develop as we, not me. It means that you cannot say that I will do this, I will do that. You should say that we will do this, we will do that as a team. It's not an individual, it's a team always to work across in the company. Okay. So the next one, capital is important. Everyone will say that yeah, to start a business you should have a money. But remember guys, initial capital is the amount which you are putting on a furniture or a laptops or a systems or whatever, cameras or private limited firm, MSME, ISO 9001, trademarks, whatever certification, accreditations, whatever you wanted to put, you have put. But generating revenue is one of the most important thing, and your capital should be invested on creation of a branding and not on the furnitures or systems or other things. Now you have to know how best you can create your brand, how best you can create your brand image in people. Now I'll give an example of Apple. Apple phone is costliest phone, maybe around 1 lakh or 70,000-80,000. But people wants to buy still Apple because that's a brand they have created, that's a logo they have created, that's the aspects they have put into minds of a human being, that if you have an Apple, you have a status. So that is where you have to invest your money, not on a furnitures or laptops or systems, but you have to spend your money, spend your capital on branding aspect. And branding will never decrease, branding will increase. Your furniture price can decrease. Yes, you have to have location, place, furnitures, everything. But you should believe on holding the business in a right strategy. That's what spending the right capital is one of the most important steps. And remember, there are so many investors who can invest money. If anyone wants to become an entrepreneur, you can contact me. I'll help you guys with your ideas, what certifications, what are the things you have to do. As per Indian standards, to start any company, you have to have first one private limited firm. Any organization which is not private limited firm is not considered as a company, and Clinosol is a private limited firm as per Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Yes, and apart from Ministry of Corporate Affairs, you should have a GST because you have to show the tax to the government. Yes, and you should have MSME, and you should also have some accreditations like ISO 9001-2015 showing that you are maintaining quality with respect to your deliveries or services which you are providing. So capital is important, but one more time it is important that how best you can spend the money on the capital and initial investment and also the running capital. And yes, faced a failure. You have faced a failure and you will say, yes man, I have faced a failure. I don't know how to deal with it. Everyone will write a books about how to become successful, but no one has wrote how to face a failure. A person is failed at once. It means that he is still trying. He is still trying. He failed at 100 times. It means that he is still trying for 100th time. He may win at one time. So remember, don't lose hopes. You may fail at one position, but wake up, change your strategy, change your planning, and go ahead with a different planning. So everywhere you should remember how to deal from it, how you can learn from failures. You should understand very clearly. We are human beings, we can get failed, but we should know how to deal with it and how to learn from it. So that's about learning from failure, facing from failure. So it doesn't mean that if you are failed in your business. No, it's not true, and you have to always remember this. I have some conclusion points here, guys, for you guys. So I'll just read out the conclusion take-home messages where you can accept so many things as an entrepreneurship. The first and foremost point, there will never be any right age. So to start a business, there is no right age, but there will be always right time. You may start a business at 70 years also. So don't think that I have become 70 years old. And listen to your gut. Listen to your inner feeling. Can I do it? If yes, go and do it. Don't ever think about any other people, what he is saying, how he is saying. Go, listen to your gut. If yes, go ahead. And always share your knowledge. You have to share your knowledge and help the other competitors and ventures also grow. You should understand, have a healthy competition. Don't show negativity to your competitors. Don't go and say that, yeah, he is doing that, he is doing that. But remember, make sure that you are growing the business, the other business also will follow you. So you have to allow the other ventures, other competitors also to grow. Have a healthy competition, not a negative marketing. Remember, negative marketing will never work. Do not speak negative about your other competitor. Remember this. Have a healthy competition. Go ahead with healthy competitions. And consumer is king, guys. Remember these words. Client, consumer, he is king. Without him, your business is zero. So remember that point. And as for a feedback, always ready to take a feedback. It may be from internal teams, it may be from clients, and you have to change yourself based on the feedback. And one more thing, guys, have an empathy. Okay, you really don't know what is happening in your team member's mind. You go and shout on team members saying that you are an idiot. You are not working as per that. But you really don't know what is happening in their personal life, what they are going through. Have an empathy as an entrepreneur. Always believe in yourself. First, you have to believe in yourself, and the other people will believe on you. And you are the biggest supporter. So this is about the entrepreneurship. So one of my advice is always think to become an entrepreneur, to give jobs to so many people, have innovations. And if anyone wants to start your own organization, and if you have any questions, you can contact me and you can take help of me. And I would like to thank Nirmala College of Pharmacy, specifically Rahman sir, who has gave me this opportunity to speak about entrepreneurship skills. And thanks for listening. Have a nice, wonderful day. Thank you.
Someone is sitting in the shade today because someone has planted a tree long time ago. Thank you, Mr. Mujeebuddin sir, for sharing your success story as an entrepreneur. Your story has raised our curiosity on how to move ahead with a startup. I would request you to address some of the queries from our audience. The first question we have is, what kind of a person makes a successful entrepreneur?
Thank you for asking this question. This question looks more tricky questions. Well, this is very difficult to tell what qualities or what you should have to become an entrepreneur, because every individual are different personalities and we have different, all five fingers are different. So we don't have a certain guidelines or something like that which can tell that these people become an entrepreneur. So, but there are certain attributes which are common in most of entrepreneurs. The first thing is taking a risk. So, what kind of activities you can take a risk? The first activities you should be ready to take a risk. And the next one is having a good communication skills and good rapport with your team members, and having a vision and mission, and believing on yourself. So these are the qualities one should inculcate in yourself to become an entrepreneur. So of course everyone is having different skills, but we have to modify our skills, we have to update our skills to make sure that we are becoming a successful entrepreneur.
The second question is, what are the key areas of focus before starting a startup?
This is one more time interesting questions. What are the key areas to focus before you start the business? There are some key areas which you have to focus before you start your own business. So first thing is, what is your interest? What is your skill set? So you may have your interest on XYZ, but you are having skill of ABC. So you should have the skill set and your interest, which makes you happy. So that's the first thing what you have to think. Your interest and skill both should match each other, and you are good to go to start those business, which is your interest and having your skill in that particular area. And having a wonderful team is one of the most important thing to have it before you start any kind of business. And a good work ethics is one of the most important area. And finances, as the capital, the amount, the financials things which are needed for you are most important thing before you start a startup business. And being open to change, so ready to get changed is one more thing you should have before you start any business, because one way you are not getting successful, then you have to think about the other ways.
And here is our third question. Why is a business plan important and who should write it?
Yeah, business plan. So business plan is needed because before you start any office or organization or startup, you should have a wonderful planning, and with the planning you can execute and you can go to a successful level. So the business plan is needed to help to understand your decisions, what decisions you are going to take, how you are going to change your decisions, and it gives you a very clear picture. And you have to write business plan by yourself. So if I write a business plan for you, it may not work. So you have to write your business plan by yourself, and it can be reviewed. It can be reviewed by business consultants or your business mentors, maybe your professors or maybe your family members, or any business consultant can be consulted, reviewed, and you can put a business plan that, okay, I'm going to start this business and my vision is after this days or this years, I want to become like this. So this is what is business plan, and these are the aspects you have to make sure that when you are writing a business plan.
Here is our fourth question. How do I determine my startup costs and other expenses, and how should I arrange for finances?
Yeah, so this is obviously one fear is there that everyone wants to start their own organization, but always when you start a startup, you will have the fear of finances. You will have how much money you have to spend and what you wanted. So here is what I will tell the story here. Prioritization is most important what you need. So you may need a AC or you may need a laptop. So what you wanted, you have to prioritize. So based on that, your finances may change, because if you buy both AC and laptop, may not be both are useful, but at a business level, you may need a laptop to work on it. So you have to understand, if you are having a software business, you should have a laptop rather than having an AC. So set your priorities very straight, that these are my A, B, C priorities, and first I'll buy A, then B, then C, and differentiate what is difference between want and need. So you should understand what is I want and what is I need. And one more thing, pull in money from different savings or from your left out money. There may be some investors who can invest money But having the right financial things, understanding the business is most important. And borrowing, yes. One more time, you can borrow from your banks.
And the last question is, how do I successfully market my business?
Yeah, marketing. Marketing for your business. The first one is know your audience. Who are your audience? Who are going to purchase your services or products? So that is what you have to understand. And have a separate USP, unique selling point, which you will go and reach to the clients or customers or your audience. That is one more thing. And understand the power of customers. So if customer is not there, as I said in my session, that customer is a king, client is a king. Without him, we cannot run a business. Promotional tools, you can have promotional tools like websites, bloggings, and one of the most important thing is word of mouth. So this is very strong. Once you go and customers give you feedback to other people, then those people will never leave you. Have a brand identity. Have your particular logo, different colors, indicate your brand identity, and have a value of the identity. So marketing is one of the things to reach to particular audience, know your audience. So unnecessarily you don't spend money on marketing of different areas, but you should understand that how we can spend on marketing, have a strategy, have a branding team, and work on it.
That's all for today. No duty is more important than that of returning thanks. I feel highly honored for having opportunity to propose vote of thanks on behalf of Nirmala College of Pharmacy and the entire fraternity of the institution. First of all, I extend my most sincere thanks to the Almighty God for making today's event a resounding success. With His blessings and grace, we were able to make this event what it was. I extend my thanks to our Honorable Chief Guest, Mr. C.S. Mujeebuddin Sir, for taking his time out of the busy schedule and encouraging our delegates for gaining interest into entrepreneurship. Thank you, sir. I would like to express my gratitude to Reverend Sister K. Sundari Garu for providing encouragement in conduction of the event. I am also very grateful to Reverend Sister P. Alfonsa Garu for supporting and encouraging us. My hearty thanks to our principal, Dr. Sheikh Abdul Rahman Sir, for his perfect logistic support and guidance to all of us. My heartfelt gratitude and thanks to the chairperson of this event, Dr. Shailendra Kumar Mahanta Sir, for the enormous cooperation in the organization of this event. Last but not the least, I thank all the delegates for showing their interest in the program and making it a success. If you don't have big dreams and goals, you will end up working for someone that does. Wish you all the very best. Thank you, one and all.